So this is a quick tutorial on how to make a pressure paint tank into a stabilizing pressure chamber for stones. Got this at Harbor Freight, and you can see the model number right there. You just need some basic tools uh, and then a few items from Harbor Freight and also Home Depot to make your chamber. It's a fairly simple build. You have some caps you're going to have to buy at Home Depot, and those are the two caps there you'll be needing. And let's just get right into it here. Basically, you're going to be working with the lid itself mainly, but like I said, this is a 2.5 gallon pressure chamber. We're going to make it into to stabilize your stones. So it's a pretty decent size, but for these purposes we're not going to be using that tank. We're really going to be focusing on the lid itself. This is the actual regulator that would bring up your paint. Uh, we'll touch base on that in a second. We're going to set that aside, and really the only thing here, you need these two items you don't need, so you want to remove it. That first one is a hanger that would attach to the lid to hang the pot. We don't need that. And then the draw up tube, as you see there, we won't be needing that either. So you could simply just take some pliers and remove that. You won't be needing that for your purposes. Just kind of cleaning out a little bit of the Teflon from the factory. I want to make sure nothing's obstructing any airflow. And then on the regulator, we're going to so here's step by step, and actually I'll show you. That's your cap for the outlet, and I'm just going to put these on to show you kind of where they go. This is from Harbor Freight. You actually have two of them in the package. The adapter you need is the smaller one, and that will go on your regulator. And you could always just pause the video if you want to get the part number on there. And all I'm doing is putting the regulator onto the lid, and I'll go ahead and take this off so you can see the dial. And then I have my off and on valve that would screw into the adapter that we just put on, and I'm just loosely putting this on just to kind of show a little bit of how it's going to come together. This is your female to draw in your air from your compressor. Now later on I did notice that I needed the male because on my compressor I actually had the female, so I'll change that up later on. And this is your end cap that will go on to your at the very end of the regulator. And these are the only modifications that you need to turn a paint chamber into a pressure chamber. So that is your release valve. So if it did get over 60 psi, that would, for safety reasons, that would go off. And that handle on the regulator you won't be using. That's to help draw up the paint as needed. And of course you want to get your Teflon tape. That's very important. Anywhere there's threads, you want to make sure you go ahead and put 2 or 3 rounds of Teflon on there. So this is the complete, with the Teflon, the complete lid. and I wanted to make a note of the silicone gasket. Some people do put a little bit of Vaseline or grease, a very light, thin woodwork, just to help it make a better seal. I didn't have to do that in this case. And then you have your thumb screws here that basically you want to tighten down, and you want to crisscross, kind of like when you're changing a tire and you're putting the lugs back on. You want to make sure you got even pressure all the way around. I did end up taking my little crescent wrench and tightening them up a little bit better with a crescent wrench, a little bit tighter, just to make sure. Then as you can see, where my off and on valve is I did have to change that out to a male. So that's the silver one you see there at the very tip, so I could put my air in there. But this is complete. I've already put my air in, and it's holding, I want to say, about 30 psi right about now. And it's been over an hour since I've looked at it, and it's still holding right around 30 psi. So again, I'll do another video on the process of actually stabilizing a stone, but